on a distant human outpost. I never expected to share my quarters with an alien, let alone one as mesmerizing and confusing as her. We were supposed to be just roommates, nothing more. But one night, long after the station had gone quiet, I woke to the warmth of her body slipping under my blanket. My heart froze as she pressed close, her breath trembling against my skin, and when she whispered her reason, it left me shaking in ways I couldn't explain. The alien colony had always fascinated me, towers of shimmering crystal, streets lined with glowing plants that pulsed with faint bioluminescence, and skies painted in two suns. I had been visiting my best friend, Kale, for weeks now, trying to soak in the alien culture while holding on to the warmth of friendship. But there was one thing in this world I hadn't been prepared for: Kale's younger sister, Lyra. She was radiant in a way I couldn't quite put into words, violet-tinted skin that shimmered under the lamps, long black hair cascading like liquid shadow down her shoulders, and eyes that seemed to pierce through every layer of pretense I tried to wear. From the first day we met, she had teased me, mocking my human accent, scoffing at my clumsy attempts at their customs, rolling her eyes whenever I tried to be polite. And yet, beneath her smirks and her proud walk, there was something magnetic about her, something that kept pulling my gaze no matter how much I tried to resist. That evening, after a long community gathering in Kale's home, everyone was tired. The music had faded, the laughter had softened, and the others were slipping into their resting chambers. I was sitting quietly in the lounge, still adjusting to the sweet-scented alien drink that made my head feel both heavy and light. Then, without warning, Lyra entered the room. She didn't say a word. She just looked at me with those glowing eyes, and in the next moment, she lowered herself onto my lap. My heart nearly stopped. "Lyra," I stammered, heat rushing into my face. "What are you doing?" She tilted her head, pretending innocence, though her faint smile betrayed her intention. "What does it look like, human?" I froze, unsure whether to push her away or stay completely still. She was Kale's sister, my best friend's sister, and yet, every nerve in my body was suddenly alive, her warmth pressing against me, the faint rhythm of her breathing brushing against my chest. The room felt too small, too suffocating. Awkward silence stretched between us, until finally I whispered, "This isn't right." Her smile faded, replaced by an earnest expression. She leaned closer, her voice almost trembling. "You don't understand. For my people, sitting on someone's lap isn't casual. It is trust. It is something we only do when we want someone to know our heart." Her words pierced me deeper than I expected. "Trust? Heart?" I swallowed hard, torn between confusion and the thunderous beating in my chest. "But I'm your brother's friend. Shouldn't this be wrong?" Her gaze softened, shimmering with something between vulnerability and defiance. "Do you think I don't know that? But I can't pretend anymore. You're different. You're not like the others who only see me as Kale's sister. You listen. You respect. You never treat me like a burden or a prize. And that matters more than blood." The weight of her words sank into me, guilt clashing with desire. Kale had been like a brother to me, his friendship one of the rare bonds I'd trusted in this strange galaxy. But here, his sister was looking at me with eyes that burned brighter than any star, eyes that begged me to understand something deeper. I tried to steady my voice. "Lyra, if Kale knew." She cut me off, her hand trembling slightly as she touched my chest. "I don't care what he knows. I care what you feel. Tell me, human, does your heart not race when I'm close? Do you not think of me, even when you try not to?" Her confession left me speechless. I wanted to deny it, to protect the sanctity of friendship, but my silence was answer enough. She saw it in my eyes, in the way I couldn't push her away. The tension broke as she leaned in, her forehead resting lightly against mine. Her whisper was fragile. "I trust you, with all of me." My chest tightened painfully. This wasn't a game. For her, this was a ritual of truth. And now I had to decide, would I betray my friend, or betray my own heart? The night seemed to stretch endlessly as I wrestled with my thoughts. Her warmth in my lap, her trembling words in my ears, the pounding of my own heartbeat. I was caught between loyalty and love. Finally, I drew in a slow breath. "Lyra." If I chose restraint, I would lift her gently from my lap, holding her shoulders as I whispered, "You deserve someone who can love you without hesitation. But I can't be that man. Not while your brother's trust means everything to me." Tears would gather in her luminous eyes, her lips trembling, but she would nod slowly. "And this," she'd say, voice breaking, "this is why humans are different. You hold honor above desire. You make choices with pain, not selfishness. I'll never forget that. And though her heart would ache, she would admire the humanity in me, an act of love that was sacrifice, not indulgence. But if I chose hope, I would let my hand linger over hers, voice unsteady but honest. Yes, Lyra, my heart does race. And yes, I've tried to fight it, but I can't anymore. Her eyes would widen, hope flickering like fire. And at that moment, Kale himself would step into the room, silent, watching. The tension would crack like thunder. But instead of anger, he would let out a heavy sigh. I should have seen it, he'd mutter. The way she looked at you, the way you never looked at anyone else. His jaw tight, but his gaze calm, he'd step forward. If her heart has chosen, then who am I to stand in the way? Relief would wash over Lyra, her trembling hand clutching mine tightly. And in that moment, I would realize, sometimes, humanity's greatest strength is not denial, but the courage to embrace love where it is true. Whether in sacrifice or in hope, the truth was undeniable. My best friend's alien sister had sat on my lap, not as a tease, not as a joke, but as a declaration of trust. And her reason had shaken me to my very core. Because in that fragile moment, I realized something I had never understood before. Sometimes, being human means carrying the unbearable weight of choice. And sometimes, it means daring to reach for the impossible.